Spastically infatuated with the in-between, the ups and downs, the curves and the rounds. I bring it to your city or your hometown. I go back in time when the feeling was fine, when funkin' was legal and it wasn't a crime. Party people lined up and down the way, a bigger celebration than your birthday. Funkin' up the neighborhood, I felt the fool cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood, funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt the fool cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. And I have seen the world pristine, funk you up in the bushes, funk you down in the trees. Now look around, all the frowns, the yellow, the white, the red and the brown. Now keep in mind, it never costs a dime, cause funkin' is free, I remember the time. Now look today, the streets are gray, time to take it back to yesterday. Funkin' the neighborhood, I felt the fool cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood, funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt the fool cause the funkin' was good. It was good in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood.
Yep,
I
we're
don't know if
live.
anybody can hear that, but we're live.
We're live and we're back.
Welcome to the Underdog Journey. I'm West. This guy is David, and we actually tried not to use OBS again, but of course we went back to Ecamm, and Ecamm is just as janky now as OBS.
Yeah.
We couldn't get the Skype stream to feed through. David, we are having a hard time with this streaming software.
Yeah.
It's not like
So,
we don't know what we're doing.
well, I
We
mean,
know
it's a
what we're
little bit.
doing.
It's a little bit. We don't know. It's especially. Well, let me rephrase that. It's a little bit. I don't know what I'm doing. We do have new software, but it is intense software. It
Yeah, you got
is.
some high end stuff there.
Yeah. So we have some
Not
pretty
today.
powerful software. It's way smarter than me. So I have to. There's a lot of YouTube videos that I have to watch to build this thing up. But once it's done, it should be a lot like a analog TV switcher from days gone by. Now,
Hmm.
OBS is already reframing your camera here.
It's
So I'm
hopping
gonna
all over the place.
I'm gonna
Fantastic.
fix it real quick. There we go. And we'll continue on. But the new software is last week we tried to move from the Mac based OBS over to a Windows based OBS.
Right.
Everything locally worked great. Everything locally was easy enough to do. It was when we started trying to pull West in remote that the house of cards just fell apart. And
Right.
so at the last minute, literally at the last minute, we're like, all right, ditch it, grab the MacBook, get it back out here. So we grab the MacBook and we're rebuilding all the scenes and everything for it. Um and it was great because then we launch and we're like we're fighting this stuff all night, and we had audio issues. We had Mike with us trying to get this stuff all to function right. Then earlier today we're texting back and forth. I'm like, hey, can you run the show tonight, because I wanted to put more, there goes your camera again, I wanted to put more time in on the new software. He's like, yeah, I got it. Can we run at 9 o'clock instead of 8? I was like, yeah, sure, yeah, no problem. So we get on here at 8:40 thereabouts, and everything's going good until we start trying to get my video and audio. It's called NDI, ported into Ecamm Live. And then we're like, well, we can circumvent this by sharing a screen, but then you guys wouldn't have audio and video from me for certain thing. And it was just a whole thing. I'm like, hey, do we want to bring up the MacBook and go back to OBS? And to its ever loving credit, okay,
Yeah.
so this is again to OBS on the Mac.
It sounds like a miracle, like a
It
Christmas
really
miracle.
is. I clicked the software, West populated, I populated, our audio populated.
And none of that had ever happened
Yeah,
before.
it has never ever happened before. It has never happened before. Every time I have to rebuild every single scene. But today, when I assembled the thing, I made sure every cable was plugged right back into the same port that it was last time. So maybe that was it. And then all we had to do was get a new stream key, and boom, we launched within 2 minutes of being on time.
Within a couple minutes.
And that,
So I think these different software platforms are probably all good in their own right,
yeah,
but they have very specific uses. Like OBS is probably great for people who have, usually streaming by themselves, usually
yeah,
don't have guests. They have their setup all in the same place, set up the exact same way. They never move it.
yeah. If you're a gamer, if you're a game streamer,
Right.
OBS is king.
This is probably great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus it's free.
Yeah, freeze my
Ecamm
favorite color.
Ecamm is probably good for people doing similar things, only they never update the software, because every single time they update it, it fucks the whole thing up. Pardon my language, it screws the whole thing up.
With as much
So
battle as we put
that's the problem
through,
with Ecamm.
as much battle as we went through with Ecamm, a couple minutes, I think dropping a couple F-bombs acceptable at this point.
Yeah, I'm done with Ecamm. Ecamm, you will never receive another penny from me,
Ah.
because every time there's a system update in Skype or in your own
Yeah.
platform, the whole thing is useless. We can't
And
use
then,
it.
and then
So
it's like, oh,
and we
here's,
don't know it's useless until we try to go live, because it looks great until we try
yeah.
to go live, and then it's all
It's like,
useless.
oh yeah, I didn't really work. So that was great. So that's the intro, the 10-minute intro of us complaining about about the
Just ranting
software
and
issues. So we tell everybody all the times, like, you know what, you just get started, just go. We're past that. We're well past that. So we're episode 230 something,
231.
231 today.
We should know what we're doing by now.
Yeah, but we've made changes, we've done some things, and that's the whole idea of this is just really to encourage you guys to do your thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be podcasting or a video. It doesn't have to be that. It could be any number of businesses out there It could have something to do with tooth fairies. It could have something to do with elves. I mean, Mike, I'm talking to you. There are things out there that you just need to pull the trigger on. And Wes, there's another one that I need to talk with you about. Um,
Hmm?
and Mike and Jeff as well. I've already dropped a little bit to
Hmm?
those two, and I talked to Mike until gee, many Christmas. I don't. It was 2:30 in the or 1:30 or so in the morning when he left last night, and
Okay.
he called. I texted like, "Hey, you want to run over?" And I just left a cigar and bourbon event, so I
Yeah.
was feeling really good. And walk in, I was like, "Hey, what do you want to drink?" He's like, "Nah, I'm not drinking tonight." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, I stand behind that decision." Which is normally not my MO. I'm like, nah, you got to have a little taste of something. But no, I was drinking water. I mean, I had cotton mouth at that
Yeah.
point. And
Oof. That's never a good feeling.
yeah,
That's never a good feeling.
yeah. So we got going, but there's some really good ideas out there. And the whole idea behind the Underdog journey is to encourage you out there, to start your businesses, follow your dreams, and do what it is that you do, and know that things are going to go wrong. There's going to be
Well, and
hiccups.
that's right. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what you try. Things will screw up dramatically at the worst possible time.
Yeah.
The trick is moving through it,
Mhm.
moving past it, and finding a better way.
Yep.
Like there are 10 ways to skin a cat. Just because the first couple of ways you try don't
Wait
work
a
doesn't mean you
How are
shouldn't
you
keep trying.
skinning? I
Don't actually skin. That's look. It's a bad
see,
analogy.
yes.
We shouldn't use. We should. That's outdated. We shouldn't really use that one anymore.
Let's see
But
here.
I didn't make it up, so it is what it is. But that's kind of like today's topic, though. Um, it's actually coming from an article that I found in Forbes, which is why 2025 is going to be an amazing year to start a business.
Yeah.
And David, we've been talking about this for a long time. When the economy's down,
Yeah.
that's the best time to start a
Yeah,
business.
we've
So
illustrated some of the massive companies that have done very, very well, that have been founded
that's
in
right.
some pretty rough economical times. And now we hopefully, let's see. I mean, things have kind of already started to make some corrections, and I don't know that that had to do with anything that happened recently. I'm just saying, things operate on an ebb and flow time frame, and sometimes
Hmm.
they're high, sometimes they're low, and there's corrections for everything. So, and we're hopefully coming out of one of those corrections, and you have an opportunity right now, if you have that business idea, to launch and get going.
Right, that's it. And so before we're not getting to the main
Yeah,
topic
there's
yet.
like,
We still have
Jimmy
some news
Christmas.
and
It's
stuff to
not.
cover.
It's in the first hour. How the heck we possibly getting to? Not even the first hour. I mean, we've only been live for 10 minutes. How can we possibly be getting to the topic? I'm like, what's going on here? We're never this effective or efficient.
Never effective or efficient, David. But the most important part of the show. What are you drinking?
So I've got water because, like I said, bourbon
Mhm.
cigar event last night.
Yeah.
I've got ginger ale that I'm drinking out of my Underdog Journey
You do like a good ginger
glass.
ale.
I do
Yep,
love
I'm
ginger
with you.
ale. But as a gift from the guys over at Goalie Dads United, I've got Bardstown here too, because
Ooh, nice.
while other people aren't able to drink tonight and they're just drinking water, they're weak and their bloodline is weak. I am going to have a little bit of
You're
bourbon.
not referring to me, by the
No,
way.
you're not. No, not tonight. I think I used that saying at least 5 times last night.
Yeah, peer pressure is fun.
No, it was a good time. I mean, we had an absolute blast. So there's a place up here called the Craftsman, which is where this event was. And gee, many
Mhm.
Christmas, I poured heavy on that. I'm scaring myself. So, so Mike Lazito, one of the guys from Goalie Dads, he says, who are you? Because I showed the water and the ginger ale, and then I poured up the Bardstown. He goes, oh, there you are. That's better.
There you are. Yeah,
There
sometimes
you
we don't
are.
even know you, David.
Yeah. So yeah, it's good. And David Rowland's watching. He says, "Hair of the dog." Yep, that absolutely. And my mom says, "Hello, Laura L. Lyons Black." You gotta
There you
stop
go. I
getting
got to bring up
married.
the
You're getting
comments. I
too
didn't
many
have them
names
loaded.
up here.
That's true.
Uh,
All right.
Bardstown's
Okay, now I
good.
have the comments on my side pulled up.
So what are you drinking out there?
Yeah, I haven't had it, but I've heard good things.
So what do you got? What do you got on tap for tonight? You back to tin cup, or you're
Well,
back to beer?
I was feeling extra Irish, so I'm going with the Guinness, West Indies Porter.
Okay.
Very tasty. So the West Indies Porter, it's not very common. You don't see this very often. So when you see it, you got to grab some. It's pretty similar to a Guinness. Um, it's almost as if you like mixed a Guinness with a dark lager. It's pretty good. It's pretty tasty.
So I know this sounds crazy to certain people, but I think of Guinness as a very light flavored beer.
It is. It is. A lot of people are intimidated by the dark color, but it's actually pretty light.
It is a very light. It is not light in carbohydrates, but it is light in flavor. It is not a beer that will knock you down. If you
Right.
even if you're not a beer drinker, I mean, you should give Guinness a go. Uh, don't do it if you're on the Atkins diet, but if you're
It's
trying
not
keto,
no, it's
this is not the beer for you.
no Irish people like Guinness because, it gets chilly. It gets chilly
Yeah.
there. And we don't have a lot of blood, so it's good to keep you warm.
Yeah.
We need all the carbs we can get.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's see here. I'm driving good old ice. Drinking good old ice water.
Drinking.
All right.
Good
That's
old
what
ice
that's what my
water.
mom's drinking. I got ice water.
There you go. You
I always
gotta
have
hydrate.
always have
That's what it's about.
always have water handy.
Exactly.
And you should. Everybody should have water. I mean, all the time. It's how
Especially if you're drinking.
it's how you can drink. Gee, I think I might have lost count last night, but it's how you can drink like that and then get up the next day and be like, "Let's go, bring it."
Well, it's how you go to Hofbrau House and drink 7 or 8 liters of beer and still somehow
I've never
manage.
gotten to 7, man. I have never got. I have gotten to 5.5. That last half to get to 6 has.
Yeah. I've seen you have a good 3 or 4 before we even start this show.
Those are great nights. I'm really on.
Yeah.
I'm really on my game during
The,
those
the,
nights.
the couple nights where I'm like, David, you just need to step away for like 5 minutes while I set the show up.
Yes. It's like, dude, be quiet. Just give me 5 minutes of quiet, Dave. Like, what are you doing, Wes?
No more drinking before the show,
Yes.
David. Yeah.
No, that's never going to happen. Drinking before the show is half the fun.
It is until you get technical difficulties
Yeah,
because
because
your
software is-
streaming platform doesn't work.
Yeah. Okay, wait. That was the
So,
mute
David, are
button.
you ready for some news?
I'm ready for some news. I'm actually trying to turn the monitor volume up on my mic.
So the good thing about the election season being over is there's actually news that's not
Yeah,
political.
it's so
Like for a
nice.
while there, it was hard to find news
Yeah.
without talking about political stuff. So finally, we can talk about stuff other than politics. Although if we were at a politics show, we would own the internet. We'd never get a day job
Yeah,
again, but
say,
we'd own the internet.
we'd have to own the internet because we would not have day jobs, and that's fine.
That's exactly
I
it.
would rather. There's a lot better things to talk about than politics. Oh, let's see here. You all talked about to begin. You are talkative to begin with, but you can't shut up when you've been drinking. Hey,
I think she's talking to you,
I-
David.
are you sure? I don't know. That's my wife, man. That's what kind
Nikki,
of
you know
support
me
I
too
get at
well.
home. She's like,
That's
I'm like Donkey, and she's like Shrek. Like, he talks. It's getting him to shut up. It's a trick.
look. Being married gives you a lot of
Yeah.
insight into somebody's personality.
Oh yeah.
So Nikki, I'm sorry about that.
It's all good.
Sorry you have to deal
It's
with
all
that.
good.
All right,
So,
pull up the news. We got some news.
oh,
to
that's
go
right.
over.
I'm the one to do it. I forgot. I was like,
Yeah, you're controlling
well,
the stuff. I'm not
so
controlling
I
anything.
thought I was just thinking. I was like, oh, I get to set back tonight and just kind of chill because you're running the show. But no, I'm
Nope.
okay. So I'm ready to click a button we haven't clicked yet tonight. So
Good luck.
I'm gonna click it, and it's actually not as bad as I was thinking. So all I gotta do is slightly
David Rowland says gazebo.
drink.
I'm not sure what he means by that.
He'll know what to do. Drink.
All right, so I'm sort of on the screen, but it's close enough.
I got you there.
So David, just in case, you're probably not a we live in a simulation kind of
Yeah, I'm
person,
not.
but just in case you ever wondered, are we living in a simulation? We've taken the first steps in proving we are in a simulation. The world's second fastest supercomputer is now running the largest ever simulation of the universe. Not saying this is actually a representation of a simulated universe like the one we live in. It's just saying that we are working towards that. Notice it says this is the second fastest supercomputer. The first fastest supercomputer is it's actually an OnlyFans server. So that one's Ocupado.
That was busy. That was busy. Yeah, so there was I seen you'll love this because it's AI based. And you can look it up on I think there's a post on YouTube about it. This guy has a robot that has a tracking software on it and cameras, and it's got little
Mhm.
Orbeez cannons on it. Orbeez, whatever. There's little,
Okay.
not really paintballs, but they're little.
Yeah, the Orbeez.
Yeah,
They're like a little
yeah. So,
squishy
okay,
kind
so you know what
of.
I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So
Yeah.
he's got two cannons on it, and he has to go on his app. It triggers and it tracks automatically, but he has to go on his app to arm the system. Well, he
Okay.
claims that as he gets to his fridge, the thing's tracking him. He's like, and how can you not look at it? It's so cute. It's adorable. It's looks like it's got two eyeballs and it's got guns on the side of it. Yeah, well, that's adorable. Little no,
Okay.
not guns, but little Orbeez cannons. And
Orbeez
yeah,
blasters. Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, yeah. Pew. Anyway,
Whatever.
he goes and he gets his sody pop out of the fridge, as it were, and he walks away
Okay.
and he's like, the thing armed itself and it starts just firing at him. I'm like, okay.
I think he was hacked.
I'm like, okay, stop right now, shut it down right now, disconnect it from any internet, and then pull the source code, pull the raw data code, post it on the internet,
Okay.
and we are going to show you why it did what it did. There's no AI.
Is he claiming that
He's
AI
saying
did
AI,
that?
it just automatically learned it, armed itself, and started shooting.
Mm,
And I call
I would blame a
bull-
13-year-old
yeah.
kid in
Well, I
China.
would blame him for writing it in the code to make it, to make a story out of it. There's
Or that.
and if you taught it to do that during certain periods of time, it could eventually it's not learning, it's just honing the algorithm. That's it. For
Right.
the love of Pete, stop calling it AI.
I would guess it's probably an insecure
Yeah,
IP
most
that
likely.
it's connected to. That's my first
Or
guess.
somebody else in his
My
office is
it,
messing with him.
like the jump from him manually triggering actions to take
Mhm.
place, even if those actions are automated after the fact, like there's no conceivable logical way for the code to jump that far
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah.
So
Something's happened.
I think that's a
Release the
stretch.
source code. Just release the code,
Exactly.
release the program, every line of it, and we're going to show you what happened. So yeah,
There you go.
I am while I am not a believer in AI going to take over the world, I am a firm believer in the ghost in the machine. Because I've seen it. I've seen it happen. The ghost in the machine, for people who don't understand what that is, it's from lazy developers and lazy programmers who love to copy and paste stuff. They'll
Mhm.
have errant pieces of code in there that don't actually do something. And when you start stacking all these bits, your processor is still stacking and doing the mathematical equation on all of these things. And
Yeah.
when you have so many ghost or broken pieces in a program that don't do anything here but does do something over here, and when you're still processing that, there's no way to fully know what the outcome is going to be. 999,000 times, 999,999 times, it can be zeros. But all it takes is that 1 in a million to be 1, and then whatever random action that it decides to place that 1, which is I'm talking about the bits, zeros and ones, to place that 1, that action's going to happen. And you're going, I don't know why that happened. Well, it's because you got busted ass code all over the place. Now, I'm not a coder.
Right.
I mean, I do some programming, but I'm not a coder by trade. But it's common sense, and I've seen it in my own field where people have
Oh
left
yeah.
errant code stuff in. They copied and pasted from over here from this other site, and when they brought it over here, they're like, "Oh, well, it just doesn't do anything." Like, then delete it. So I don't copy and paste everything. When
Yeah.
I write a program from scratch, start to finish, every single time.
Mhm.
And you know what I don't have? Problems with my programs. I don't have robots turning themselves on trying to
Yeah.
shoot me with Orbeez cannons.
Yeah, and even then, when you do have this sort of errant code from copying and pasting, most of the time it will just crash your
Yeah,
application. It's not actually going to perform an action.
that's the most common
So
outcome is crashing the application and getting a reconfig.
so there's actually a website that I used to love. I use this thing like almost every single day. It's called Dirty Markup. It's completely free, and what you do is you basically just paste in your code,
Oh, that is not what I was thinking it
and
was
it'll
for.
highlight, and it dirty markup sounds way
Dirtymarkup.com.
worse. That's actually part of the first world's fastest supercomputer running all the porn. But dirtymarkup.com actually analyzes all your code. You just literally paste it in there, and it highlights everything that's wrong in red, and you just can mass delete all that stuff. Literally copy and paste it back out, and stick it where you want it to go. And
Yeah.
after saying dirty markup and then saying stick it where you want it to go, it all sounds bad.
Boy, bring the lube.
But errant code is
Yeah.
why, since we're talking about simulated
Yeah.
universes, is why we have ghosts and werewolves and vampires that Neo eventually has to fight. So this proves it all.
Yeah.
This is it's happening.
It's
David.
not happening. It doesn't prove a damn thing. It proves that somebody programmed the computer to make it look like a universe. Congratulations.
It's happening. Look, I see stars and everything. It's happening. There's little.
There was a wind tunnel app. I say app, a program application, if you want to use the full term there, I guess. Back in the early mid 90s, that you could do wind tunnel tests on car designs, and the most
Mhm.
aerodynamic when you ran the simulation on it was almost almost down to the T, the exact form factor of the Tesla truck.
The Cybertruck.
The
I
Cybertruck.
kind of
That's
want to
it.
get one now, just because they get so much hate. I want to get one now, just because people hate them so much.
I don't have it. I mean, I don't even have a pickup because I don't really have much of a use for it. And I'd rather just
Right.
have the interior. And no knock on Tesla, but the interior of their cars and stuff, they're fairly Spartan. And
They are.
I'm a little more, let's put some leather and wood and mechanic stuff in there. Give me a gear shifter so I can, go, and this is just a lady razor. You know, that's a direct
But it
quote.
has a really cool iPad for the console,
Yeah.
David. Don't you know?
So I mean and I understand the reason behind it because it's supposed to be different than what was before. But I want
I use it
and
back.
and this is going to be a terrible thing to say because hopefully we don't go off on a 2-hour rant on this again. Um, I
Okay.
would much rather be in a classic Jaguar than a
Oh boy.
brand new nicer car, or something that has a little style to it, a little luxury to it. Those cars are form and function. They're very Spartan interior.
There you go. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
All right. So next piece of news.
News.
Next piece of news. And now you know the rest of the story.
All
All
right.
right. And this is only in here because I thought it was interesting. I'm a big nerd. You watch Star Trek too, so you get it. This is it says straight out of a sci-fi movie. For the first time in history, we have a clear image of a star in another galaxy. That's pretty
Okay,
amazing.
we're gonna hit pause and don't scroll at all.
Okay.
Is this an actual image of a star in another galaxy, or is it an assembly of mathematical equations of what they think the star would look like in another galaxy? Because we just had something like that a couple weeks ago.
Right, but that was a photon. That was
That was
what they think
that
a
was the photon.
photon
What they
looks
think a
like.
photon looks like. Here's our first real look at a
Apparently, a photon looks
photon.
like a lemon.
Yeah.
Photon looks
Yeah,
like a
well,
lemon.
that's what we came
Uh,
up with, and then it's like this is what it looks like, and then we go down into the material of it, and it's like, oh well, this is what we think it looks like based upon mathematical equations and wavelengths and functions
right.
and the stuff that's coming off of as we're hitting it
Well,
and bombarding it.
because as it turns out, you can't actually take a picture of light.
Yeah, I d- I can. Every
I
time you take a
mean,
picture, you get to see the refraction of light. Oh, I guess that's
that's
the
true.
refraction of light. Yeah,
That's true. Fair enough. Every time you open your eyes, you're seeing photons.
yeah,
They'll look like tiny lemons for some reason.
yeah.
Um,
When life's
so
give
this is
you
actually a
lemons, get a
photo.
suntan.
This is actually a photo of a star. I think to say it's
Was this
a
taken on a
clear image.
Samsung Galaxy phone?
Exactly right. To say it's a clear image, I think is a stretch. It's actually the one on the left.
That's the
The
ISR on.
the one on the right is an artist rendition, so AI's rendition of it.
Okay.
But the one on the left is actually
Oh,
a picture of a star in another galaxy.
yeah. If
So it's
Matt
pretty
was back
impressive.
there when you called AI an artist's rendition, he would have got up and stormed out.
He doesn't realize he doesn't have a job anymore.
Rubble, rubble, rubble. So I mean, to be fair,
To be
if
fair,
if that is allegedly, the star on the left there,
they say it
then
actually is.
that's actually a relatively cool image.
That's
I'd
pretty cool.
like to see it zoomed out and then a zoom in of it. Like, where did you get this from? Like,
Right. So the star in question, named WOHG64,
oh,
resides in the large uh, Magellanic Cloud, a satellite galaxy of our Milky Way, approximately 160,000 light years away. This colossal, so it's obviously a pretty big star. This is a colossal red supergiant. It's an estimated 2,000 times larger than our sun. So it's pretty
okay.
big. That's how they got a photo of it. More
Okay, and we
random
got some
information down here.
ADHD, and if you need ADHD meds, they've got some on the in depression, right there.
It's funny
ADHD,
they're
not
showing that to
lasers.
us.
Like,
I don't know why we would be targeted for that,
I don't
David.
know. I don't know. They're like, hey, he's talking with David, man. We need to get him some ADHD meds on the screen. Yeah, depression is not my problem, bud.
Not depression, but ADHD. We both may have some issues there.
I'm on the spectrum.
No, we're both on some sort of spectrum.
Yes, I'm also on some watch lists. Oh, my phone just lit up when I said that.
See,
I was like, we're on some. I'm on a watch list, and my phone's like, pardon me. What are you saying this time?
It's not really news. I just thought it was kind of cool.
That's cool.
So,
That's news. That's
yeah,
newsworthy. That's a lot better than what most people put out there as news nowadays. Gee, many Christmas. Have you
right.
tried to watch the news? The local
Oh,
news is the
it's
best.
all.
The local news is the
Yeah,
best. But
apparently.
like the nationwide and worldwide news stuff, that's just garbage.
Oh man, yeah, it's. I have nothing nice to say about the state of news in the world right now. All right, so next, let's keep it on the bright side. The next news item is from Earth.com, one of your favorites, and
Turtle
so
Earth Society.
I know you're
bud.
a fan of. So I know you're a fan of eating weird stuff. I know a lot of government entities are saying we should eat more bugs. Other government agencies are saying we should eat synthetic meat. Now they're saying the future of plastic is biodegradable, durable, and even edible. So soon we'll have edible plastic to eat. That'll be wonderful.
We've already got that, and it's made from seaweed. So, I mean, it's not necessarily plastic.
I love seaweed. Don't knock seaweed, man. Seaweed can feed. Seaweed could feed the entire world if we actually farmed it correctly.
Yeah, but there's people like me that don't want to eat bugs.
Put some seaweed with some rice, man.
Or we can feed the seaweed to the cows, and then I can eat the steak.
That's actually true. That's a good point.
And because of the amount of alcohol that I drink, having the steak is better for me.
Well, so you know that Bill Gates owns a company that is vaccinating. I think you can. The term vaccine is pretty flexible these days. They're actually vaccinating, in big quotes, all the cattle in like huge swaths of Africa now, so that they will be genetically modified to no longer fart.
Are they going to burp?
That's a real thing.
I mean,
look, I don't know how they're going to expel their gases, but it's not going to be through their butts. Thank you, Bill Gates, for that added to the world. But maybe then you can feed the cow. So when the cows all grow tentacles and fly away,
and they all die,
we can eat these. We can eat this edible plastic.
Yeah. I trust him like freaking Bill Cosby pouring me a drink, bro. I mean, that's just all there is. That's all I got to say about that.
So you don't want to eat. You don't eat plastic, bugs, and what was the other one? Bugs, plastic, and synthetic meat. They can 3D print you a steak now, David.
No, I just would rather eat.
Actually, that's the best of all worlds. What if they 3D printed you a steak made out of plastic and bugs? It's all 3 in 1. It's good stuff.
I'm good.
When you got it, so you wouldn't even have to take food out of the packaging anymore. You just
eat the whole package. Did you defrost that? Did you take it out of the package? No, you still the whole damn thing in the frying pan, which has to be electric.
You just eat it's the whole thing.
No, I'm good. I'm good. They can keep this. They can keep this. So last night,
so that's the next thing.
Last night, one of the meals, or one, because we had a 5-course dinner with the cigar and bourbon tasting, and one of it was a steelhead trout. And the steelhead trout, it had like a white cream sauce with it too. It was absolutely. It was level of like salmon, so freaking good.
Nice.
And it was on a bed of edamame, and just on principle, I will not eat edamame. Nikki loves it, and I'm like,
you don't get edamame? It's the little beans.
Yeah, I know.
Beans.
Nikki loves it, absolutely goes crazy about it, and I'm just like, nah, I'm not a hippie. I'm good. I left my
It's literally
tie-dye
just a
I
bean.
left my tie-dye apparel at home.
It's not hippie.
Oh, it's hippie.
It's not hippie. It's Japanese. It's literally a bean.
Yeah, I'm good.
David, I don't as much as you're going to complain, I'm going to take you out for sushi next time you're in town. We're going out for sushi
No, you're not going to take me for sushi in
and
Central
you're going
Ohio.
to eat it.
You want to take me to
There
sushi
is
in
great
Hawaii?
sushi in Central Ohio.
You want to get me some sushi in Hawaii?
There's
I'll
this
do
place. No, there's a couple places in the short north that are really, really good.
Oh, hey, I think Mike may be watching. Oh, okay, possible. We're gonna put a pin in that. We're gonna cycle back because the guys over on
Okay.
because I was commenting on the Goalie Dad United podcast, which was on at 8 tonight, and usually we start at 8 because it got pushed for you. I was able to watch and comment over on Goalie Dads, which is great, and it was a good time. But they talked about this show called Ted Lasso, which I don't know what it is. I haven't seen it, and
I think it's it's about like an American American
oh,
football coach who goes to England to coach soccer.
huh.
And I can't remember the guy's name. I really like him. He's a good actor. He's pretty
I'm
funny.
assuming his name's Ted
But
Lasso.
I think it's on Apple TV Plus or
Apple
something, whatever
TV,
the
Super
Apple
Plus,
channel is.
Double XL, whatever.
Yeah.
yeah.
I've
Okay.
heard pretty good things.
They laugh because I didn't even see the mistake because I typed in who is Ted Lasso, but it autocorrected to Teddy Lasso. So I'm
Oh, that's
backspace,
funny.
backspace, and it just said Teddy first, and then it gave me a space. And I just was like, I don't need the Y or the extra D, and I just backspaced twice, like click, click, and then typed in Lasso. And so it came up Ted did Ted did
Ted
on the screen, and they had some fun
Yeah.
with that. So if you guys get
Okay.
a chance, watch the Goalie Dads United, and if you can, watch them live and make comments and just mess with them the whole time.
That's funny.
'Cause
Yeah, they're good guys. I like those
They're
guys.
awesome. They're awesome. So and they got a new website up. Do you have that from last week?
I don't still have that. Hang on. It's goaliedadsunited.com, right?
GoalieDadsUnited.com. Yeah, GoalieDadsUnited.com.
Let me see if I can. I'll just type it in right now.
Yeah. If we type it in here, then you don't have to worry about losing your place. Yeah, right there.
There we go. Fair enough. Here it comes. And they got some pretty cool merch.
This is a shameless plug.
They've been
I
on the
wanted
show
to
a
throw
couple
in here and
times.
break up the news because I see you got a
The
couple more to
news.
go.
Yeah, it's being nice and slow, so we can talk more.
Their website is just being overrun with traffic of everybody wanting to buy their shirts. And they have custom branded underwear over there. It's amazing. Most comfortable stuff in the world. Jeff
The
makes it
Goalie Dads
himself.
United are big on banana hammocks.
Banana hammock.
that's
Yeah,
their,
it's all banana hammocks all the time. But no, so I've got my Goalie Dads United hoodie setting over here. If for some reason I am lazy and don't turn the heat up in my house, I can just throw on my hoodie. And I bought a second hoodie that is low. It says low key bussin' Sigma Dad on it, just so I can embarrass my daughter when I pick her up from school or do events and whatnot.
That's pretty funny.
So
So for whatever reason, their site's not loading.
Okay.
So, Jeff, we tried to load goaliedadsunited.com.
yeah, Mike. Yeah, we tried.
It's not coming up. I'm guessing it's my Wi-Fi. It's probably not the website.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we give it a
yeah,
try.
it's not.
And
gonna
that's
come up.
fine. And that's fine. So we give it a try. But if for all you guys out there, the URL's in the top bar there, goaliedadsunited.com. Go over there, support them. I thought that they were full POD, but they're getting the shirts kind of on demand, but they're printing these themselves. So they're building these things. So that shirt, when you buy it from them,
That's impressive. Yeah.
they are they're actually doing the press. And I've got an actual t-shirt press downstairs. I was like, you guys can borrow that. It's like one of the ones that you'd see at like Myrtle Beach where you have a custom shirt made and they press it right there. And I got one of those downstairs we've never used. So but yeah, they put their hands on it and they also put their hands on your banana hammocks. So whatever it is you need.
All bad.
Yeah, it's all bad. I just wanted one more time with that.
All bad.
So
So I do actually think it's my computer, not their website. So
Yeah.
just to let you know, I think they're fine. Let's
oh,
see
yeah,
if I can.
yeah.
I'll try one more time.
Who'd ever imagine it? 50,000 tabs open. Nikki.
No, that's not it. My wife really acting up.
Well, it's 9:45. You're in Central Ohio and you have AT&T Uverse. At 9:45
Right, that's
or
my problem
10
right there.
p.m. every single night over there, our bandwidth just took a nosedive when we had AT&T.
Yeah, AT&T
every
is
night.
the worst. I never recommend them. I know AT&T. A lot of you execs watch this show. You guys suck.
You kind of do. I mean, you really do. Now,
All right, so you ready for the
we got
next
news.
piece of news?
News.
All right, so let's see. Here we go. Here's a good one. The world's first nuclear-powered diamond battery with a
Oh Jesus.
5,700 year lifespan
Uh,
unveiled in the UK. So
no,
look, it's
no.
basically it's basically David, you're mocking this right
Already,
now. You don't even
already,
understand the
already
technology. You're
mocking it.
mocking it, David.
Already, you are
It's a
absolutely.
diamond
I get it.
battery that lasts five and a half
Yeah, yeah,
thousand
yeah.
years.
Okay.
Do you
A
know you'll never
hydrogen
have to charge your phone
battery.
again?
There's a reason why. I don't know if you guys know on Voyager 1, we sent up with the record, right? And on that record there is a hydrogen atom illustrated on that. And then it shows basically the tick-tock, because you can have a hydrogen-based clock for the degradation of the hydrogen atom, of where the atom flips. Anything could be a battery. There's some energy there. Extracting it and utilizing it, well, that's usually called nuclear power. Um, it's fission power, or if you're Val Kilmer, it's cold fusion. But a 5,700
They're
year old.
apparently the Japanese are making
Oh yeah,
big
yeah. This is
strides in
not
that
fake
area.
at all. Let's read into it.
This is no, so no, Dave, you don't understand it. Here's what you don't understand, David. David,
David,
here's what you
David,
don't
David,
understand.
what you don't understand, man. We haven't done that in forever.
It's gonna last for five and a half
Oh
thousand
yeah.
years, but the cost of your electric car is going to go through the roof if you have to have a giant diamond
Yeah.
battery. So essentially, how it works is so carbon-14 is a slightly radioactive material. The decay rate of that carbon-14 is very predictable. It's about
That's well,
5,700
just in
years.
case.
What they do is they take carbon-14 and they put it in a carbon shell diamond. And the diamond essentially acts the same way that a solar panel works. So it takes in the electrons and radiation from the decay of the carbon-14, displaces electrons that it can then use as power later on. So you're actually talking about power in the range of like individual electrons, but it will technically last 5,500 years. Uh,
Uh,
so there's something there.
if you need 0.0000000, come back next week. I'll be done. 1 volts of power. Yeah, you might have something there. And carbon-14 is what they use for radiocarbon dating as well, by the way, if you guys didn't know. Is one of the forms that when you find a fossil or you find something that's, like your grandma that's really old, that's how they
Right.
tell how old they are, is carbon-14 radiocarbon dating.
So Jeff Leffingwell asks a good question. How are they going to prove that it lasts 5,700 years? Jeff, they have a really good extended warranty plan.
I'd like to
If it
talk to you
breaks
about
down in
your
5,000
diamond
years,
batteries extended warranty. there's whole call centers opening up in India right now just to start that.
right now.
Yes. Oh man. I can't wait to start
Exactly.
getting those calls.
You know somebody's working on it. You
Oh
know somebody's working on it.
man. No, don't buy
So that's a
this.
thing.
Don't buy
That's
this.
actually happening.
So,
Let's move.
being in the industry that I'm in, especially with the focus that I'm in right now, whenever it comes up to something that's talking about batteries, I mean, I talk with
Yeah.
people who actually make and develop batteries, and the next one up is like the solid state battery. That's what we're looking at. And this is straight from the people that are trying to build this this next generation thing. That's how long we got?
Right.
They're like 10 to 15 years. I said, "Oh, cool. That's quite a long time out there." He goes, "Let me put this in perspective for you, David. It's been 10 to 15 years for 10 to 15 years. We
Right.
can get it to one point, but after a certain point. So in this case right there, theoretically and mathematically, this will function. But when you try to
Right.
use it in scale, diamonds aren't lightweight. That's carbon. That's highly
yeah.
compressed
So
and organized carbon molecules. It's not feasible.
Well, also you're talking about the decay rate of carbon-14.
Yeah.
So you're still talking about the power, the energy levels of individual electrons. You're not actually talking about a flow
Yeah,
of electrons that will give you energy.
yeah. No.
Stable energy.
So you can use, I don't know, uranium-231 and get a lot faster return on your investment for power. And
Yeah, but carbon.
basically that is to um, turn a steam engine. So that's one thing that cracks me up. They're like, "Oh yeah, nuclear power." So it's like, well, I mean, it's still steam power. So yeah, I mean, it
Right, and
functions.
that's the fun. That's what most people don't realize is like with a nuclear reactor, you're basically still
Nuclear.
it's still connected to a steam engine.
Yeah.
It might as well be connected to like an old timey
Yeah.
steamboat going down the river
Yeah.
100 years ago.
Steamboat
Like
Willie out
it's
there.
still
Yeah,
steam,
it's still a steam engine. Um,
right? You're basically Doc Brown throwing these fancy sciencey
yeah, the
logs
science logs. Oh,
into
I
the
love that.
engine
Of the train that
the
goes up to the thing.
steam
Yeah.
engine going down the train tracks.
It's like chugga, 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 chugga.
That's the world we live in now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Literally, like 3 people got that
yeah,
reference.
and two of them are the hosts of the show. Mike didn't get it because he doesn't watch any movies.
Jeff Leffingwell says AI's got this.
Hey, I see.
Hey,
Yeah.
Jeff, I agree. I'm
Yeah,
with you.
so AI probably wrote that article. Oh my lord! Over to
I have
that.
no
You know,
doubt.
AI and articles. So we're past the Black Friday, Thanksgiving, Black Friday timeline. Thank God. And so before that, we were getting all these AI generated articles that were just, for the love of Pete, proofread something. It's like it would say Target's going to be or not Target, Home Depot is going to be closed, and Lowe's won't be any help to you, to create
Wait,
clickbait.
what?
And basically, what it was telling you is they're going to be closed on Thanksgiving. They're going
That's
to be
it.
and that's literally the whole. It was 7 paragraphs long. And it just basically was telling you that they were going to be closed for Thanksgiving. That's
Oh
literally what it
man.
was. It didn't need to be a story. It didn't need to be
Yeah.
illustrated. It didn't need anything whatsoever. But somebody, this is my problem with the 24-hour news cycle. And I actually made this comment either yesterday or the day before about the 24-hour news cycle, that where we have multiple news centers and news outlets out there, and they all have to have stuff to fill, because their job
Right.
is to, when you start, let's say we start a news channel called Random Shit BC, whatever.
Random shit news.
Yeah, Random Shit News. We have to, our job now is not necessarily to bring you news. My job is to attract businesses to,
It's clickbait.
well, not just clickbait. It's to get advertisers to market. And,
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
and
the ad
get
revenue.
the ad
Yeah.
revenue, because that's where the real money is. So
Right.
I've got to have something that's going 24/7, that's bringing in things. So I have to make things that are not news whatsoever, and I have to sensationalize them to make them a bigger deal than they are, so that I have something to fill a 24-hour. I miss the days where you had the little 1, 2, 3, 4 and the cross in the circle on the TV. It was like it's
Oh yeah.
off air. That's where the news should be every night. It should come on at in the morning. It should shut off at 8:30, and then come
Yeah, the
back on
24-hour
at
news
noon.
cycle is
Come
ridiculous.
on again at 5:30, and then go from 5:30 to 6:30, and then come back on again at 11 o'clock, because it's 11 o'clock news. And it's it. You get a 1-hour window in each one of those. That's when you get your news. Everything else go away. The world,
So, David, have
would
you
just
heard
be a
about the
better
dead
place.
internet theory?
What's that?
Have you heard about the dead internet
Oh,
theory?
that where the internet died in 2012 or something?
No, so the dead internet theory is it's kind of misnamed, but it's interesting. It actually ties directly back to what you're saying. So it's the idea that like 99% of the content online isn't for or by humans.
Yeah.
It's actually bots. So there's AI writing the articles and creating the content.
Yeah.
And we already know that a really almost majority of the users of most of the internet are actually
Are
bots.
actual bots.
So bots are consuming the AI created content, and it's this endless cycle of bots and AIs creating content for each other by each other.
So
And it's growing exponentially, where supposedly like 99% of the internet isn't even human generated or for humans. It's just bots interacting with each
other
other.
bots. So this is something I try to, and my family's, my mom, who I don't know if she still watch or not, but she falls hook, line, and sinker for this every single time. A bot will create a post,
Mhm.
and it'll post something uh, semi-Christian or Christiany, let's use that word, right?
Sure.
And then 75 other bots will report that as not anything, but could be that needs to be covered, uh, graphic image or something along those lines. Could be, people praying, right? That's it. Just on just a kid praying or a guy praying or a girl, doesn't matter. Just a family praying. It could be that. So a bot created that, and then 75 bots reported it as graphic. So now they have a cover over it saying, "Hey, do you want to see this? It's graphic." So no humans are involved in this. None. There's no
Right.
there's no Republicans posting it and liberals flagging it. It literally is bots doing this. And
Right.
what does it do?
Exactly.
What does it do? It stirs up all of these comments of people going, "This is bull crap in the family and this and then Facebook and blah 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 blah," and all these things start going on in the comments, and all you're doing is driving
Hmm.
the algorithm for that person's platform, for that bot's platform. And then they
Right.
can
Which is
post
also
other
why the social media platforms
yeah,
don't shut down the bots because they like the interactions. They like
interaction helps their
the fire that
algorithms.
it
Yep.
drives up in the
Yep.
few actual people who are left. Jeff Leffingwell said, "Did a bot tell you to say that, West?" Jeff, I am a bot.
No. Or- so every
I'm not
day,
actually here.
every show before we go live, I make West select all the images of a traffic light just to prove that he's not a robot.
It's true.
Yeah. The world is his oyster now.
All right. So next piece of news, David. I thought you'd like this one because you're a big fan
5,700-year
of
old
quantum
battery.
entanglement.
I love quantum. That's going to be the way of the future,
You
man.
love
I'm telling you, that's what's going to get us.
apparently.
That's what's going to get
So
us there.
this is from this article is scientists created the world's first engine powered by quantum
No, they
entanglement
didn't.
instead of gas or oil.
No, they didn't.
Because two quantum entangled particles, if one moves, the other moves.
Yeah.
So that is of course going to power an engine, David.
Yeah, because that makes sense.
It's science.
It's science. Because
It's science.
because what? I mean, how's that work? Science. Like,
And
no,
that's
no.
basically
No.
the answer.
Tell me the mechanics behind it. Tell me the mechanics behind it. Well, I mean, it's very scientific.
It's science.
All right. So is there a
So I read the
propulsion
whole
method?
article.
I mean, how's
I
this
read
work?
the whole article.
All right. So
I'm going to break
give
down
me the
how
cliff.
this
Give me
works
the cliff
and the whole
notes.
article for you.
All right. Give me the cliff.
Here's the cliff notes. The cliff notes are a group of Chinese scientists got paid lots and lots and lots and lots of money
To go to
to
ChatGPT and
create
write an
clickbait.
article.
To create clickbait. That's what happened. They claim it works, but I have a hard time believing it works on anything larger than a proton. I wouldn't anticipate filling your gas tank with entangled particles anytime soon.
Okay, so okay, all right. So how does this work? So because are we combusting? I mean, an engine would, and we're replacing gas or oil. So is it generating electricity? Is it combusting to give us like an internal combustion
No.
engine, or is it just saying because science? I mean,
Because so essentially it said because science.
oh,
So
okay.
it breaks it down and it talks about let's see, researchers exploring the different ways to create these engines. To some scientists develop a model by the by the interplay between fermions and Bose-Einstein
Bose-Einstein
condensates.
Yeah.
Yes, I just
It's
had
a
a hard
tough
time
one.
saying that
It's
for
a
a
tough
second.
one to rattle off. And as a
Instead of relying on
Virginian,
heat,
as a West Virginian, Bose-Einstein condensates is something that you'll bite your tongue trying to say it.
instead of relying on heat, this engine uses quantum properties to achieve an efficiency of 25%, a promising start to an emerging technology. Essentially, what they do is they blast protons with laser beams. The
Do
laser
you
beams,
know
the
how
photons,
much energy that takes?
David,
You're talking about
but
a
the
particle
engine. So
accelerator at this point.
the laser beams will basically
Freaking
expand
lasers.
the freaking lasers on the sharks' freaking heads will cause the protons to expand. What they then do is they encase these protons in another subatomic material. They condense them down to smaller. Essentially smaller size. They entangle them with a similar particle, and what happens is there's a certain type of essentially Hawking radiation that's supposed to come off of these particles as they are entangled, and that radiation will then power individual protons
To do
to about
what?
25% of the initial energy that was put into them. No, I'm not even making it up. That's essentially what it breaks down to. That is how the quantum entangled engine actually works.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Next,
it literally says efficiency of 25%. I call that a win.
the oil companies won't.
No, I think the oil companies are looking at this and saying, "Yeah, keep pumping money into that."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There you go.
In the meantime, you're using our gas and coal to power the plants to run
Yeah.
all of your experiments.
Jiminy Christmas. So we're gonna drive around in vehicles that have freaking particle accelerators in them.
Freaking particle. Well, yeah. I mean, you basically get you get a really nice car. You pop a Mr. Fusion right on the
Mr.
back of it
Fusion
there.
right in the back of it.
Y-
It hits the flux
Right.
capacitor and boom, baby.
Mr.
We're in
Fusion, you just
business.
pour some stale beer and some random trash in there. You're good to go. See,
Yeah.
that's our second Back to the Future reference in this single show.
We can get 2 more in.
We can fit a
get 2
couple more.
We can get a couple more in. Oh man, that is Jiminy Christmas.
Jeff Lovingwell says you all ain't drinking enough. Quantum
Nah.
physics. Jeff, you're not wrong.
So I'm going to be doing I'm going to be hosting a Jeopardy style trivia for the goalie dads. It'll be next year, because apparently to build a Jeopardy style PowerPoint, there's a ton of work to go
It's a
into
lot
it.
more work than you'd think.
Yeah, it is. Every single thing is there's 15 actions for everything you got to do. So I've got the screens built. Most of it I got to get the questions in, and then I got to start linking questions, which that becomes the whole new world. And then I got to make the questions that we've asked disappear off of the screen. So I'm gonna be doing that next year, and the categories for them. West and I can have a just a weird trivia.
We could put some random stuff.
We could put some random ass things in
a
there. We're like,
show
oh
like
yeah,
that.
I read an article about that. What's crazy is he'll bring up something like, oh yeah, I was reading that earlier. We won't have talked about it. It's just the algorithm's like, you guys are nerds. You're getting this.
It knows us too well. Yeah.
So theirs is slang. And we got some sports things in there, and I've got one that's called business ethics, which is actually movie quotes.
Ooh.
Business ethics is
okay.
out of Billy Madison.
Okay.
Business ethics. So we've got that, and then I've got one general trivia, and I'm flirting with the idea of slipping some of the questions that you and I would
to see how much they've been paying attention to our show.
Yeah, just to
Jeff,
see how they would
sorry, no, not Jeff. I think I saw Mike join.
So
earlier.
yeah, Mike was on earlier. I don't see him now.
Mike, you better still be watching because this will be on the test.
It'll be on the test, bud. It'll be on the test. It's gonna be brutal. So it's good. So it's slang. I was talking to Slang the other day, and we were at soccer practice on Monday, I don't know, whatever day it was, and well, I'm sitting there. I'm like, yeah, I got one of them slang terms, and they're like, and Jeff points at Mike. He's like, yeah, you're gonna kill at that. I'm like, it goes back to the 1400s, and both of them looked at me like, what?
Slang terms from the Middle Ages.
Yes. Yeah. So, literally the first question, which was just a tester question to see how I used it to create a function in PowerPoint, and it was a term of endearment used for a wife in the 14 and 1500s. And the answer is,
jeez,
what is
David? Come on.
What is a kicky wiki? Kicky wiki.
That was the actual answer.
That's the answer.
A kicky wiki.
What is a kicky wiki?
Who's gonna know a kicky wiki?
Nobody's
David?
gonna know the freaking name of a kicky wiki. That's why it's a test question. It's just for me to test out the math, the functions inside of the PowerPoint.
Is that your pet name for Nikki?
No,
Kicky
it's
wiki.
my pet name for her is don't throw anything at my head, please. Oh, hey there, don't throw anything at my head, please.
That makes more sense.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't always work.
I'll call my current wife Kicky Wiki later and see what she says.
Come here, you little Kicky Wiki. Oh, that could work.
I don't know, David. When you say it in a southern accent, it sounds kind of offensive.
Well, I mean, it sounds offensive to begin with.
Like, there's another show that I watch. They have a game show that they play occasionally. The name of the game show is Racial Slur or Pokemon. That kind of sounds like like one of the questions from that.
Oh, I don't know anything at all about Pokemon except Pokemon number 150 is Mewtwo.
Right. Well, that's the point though. Is like none of them on this show know, and that's what makes it funny.
Yeah.
So Kiki Wiki sounds like it belongs on that show.
So there was a person I was at Tuttle Mall back before it was garbage. So we're talking a long time ago now. And there was a person wearing a shirt that had Mewtwo and it had, Pokemon number 150 on it. And I don't know why. It just stuck in my head. Now, my cousin
Yeah.
Ricky. Ricky is a huge fan. He knows this stuff, and he has the cards and all the things, and hell, he could probably retire off of what he's got in Pokemon cards.
Okay.
And he said something about blah 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 Mewtwo. I'm like, oh yeah, Pokemon number 150, and you could just see him look at me like, how the hell do you know that? Because I'm have no clue, none whatsoever about this thing. But it was just because somebody was wearing a shirt one day and I seen it. I'm like, oh yeah, Pokemon number 150 is Mewtwo.
That's funny.
The weird things that gets trapped up here, it's ridiculous. So, do we
It's
have any more
frightening.
news? Do we have any more news?
Jeff Langwell says, "Y'all ain't heard of Kiki Wiki? I have.
Oh, he's heard of
Jeff,
it.
I believe it.
Yeah.
He
Also
knows
from the
Kiki Wiki.
14 and 1500s, Jeff Leffingwell, ladies and gentlemen.
Jeff Leffingwell. So no more news. We can actually get to the main topic after an
we have a
hour.
main topic. And that's about our normal. It's right around an hour.
It's about right.
Getting to the old topic there. You had me scared shitless earlier. Like 10 minutes in, you're like, and the main topic tonight is why businesses are going to do great in 2025.
No, you actually got very serious early on, and you started talking about business and
yeah. Well, I mean, it's because that's the whole purpose.
Not giving up and moving forward
Yeah.
despite problems. And I mean, you actually gave us a great intro to the main topic.
Yeah, I mean, so the idea, but it's just really try to introduce people to the show as being. We try to make it fun, but the purpose, the goal of this show is to encourage you to do your thing. Don't sit back. Today, I talked to West. I said a couple years ago, I was like, it would be awesome. I talked
You've been in New York
I
too
talked to
long.
West.
I talked to West in my West Virginia accent.
My West Virginian hillbilly, Columbus, Ohio, New York
accent.
Yeah, I love people. So I'll travel around and they go, "Where are you from?" I'm like, I live upstate New York. Like, really? I'm like, yeah. or I'll go, I'm from New York. They go, really? I'm like, yeah, I live upstate. They go, oh. No, that ain't it.
All right.
They go, no, that ain't it. I'm like, well, I'm from, I lived in Columbus, Ohio for 25 plus years. And they go, that's getting closer. Like, I was born in Huntington, West Virginia. And they're like, son of a bitch, there it is. There it is. There it is, you freaking redneck.
That's the one.
That's the one. That's the one. And we have a winner.
Makes way more sense.
Yeah. But anyway, it's about, people making their things. And as I was saying, Wes and I were talking earlier tonight, but oh, dude, we were doing a show a year ago or more over at the Hofbrau house. And I was like, what'd be crazy good is if you had a modular soundboard that you were expanding. You could buy the modules that you needed and clip, and put them all together. Right. And this week, I found somebody who actually built modular soundboards.
Somebody's making it.
Somebody made it. There was a market for it. I identified it over a year and a half ago.
That's why.
you've
Regardless
got to
what
do
your
it.
idea is, what market it's in, you got to make it, man. You got to patent it.
Go for it.
You got to put trademarks out, and you got to make it.
I love their product.
Look,
it's gorgeous looking, by the way.
If you don't do it, somebody else will, and you'll always look back and say, "Man, I had that idea." And somebody else did it.
Yeah.
Like literally everybody has one friend or knows one person who's like, you know what? I thought of Facebook first. I thought of it first.
Where's my?
Why didn't you do it?
Where's my thing? Oh, there
what
it
are
is.
You looking for?
There it is. Yeah, there it is.
Your man purse?
It's not my man purse.
What are you looking at?
It's my idea book. We talked about this.
Your book. Yeah, I got mine over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've added a couple things to it recently. We won't go over them.
Oh, you had some good ideas.
So
you want to share them with the world?
Absolutely will not. A couple of these. This one right here. This one that got put on the page last night is freaking gold. Absolutely gold.
Okay, there you go.
But there's some other
you
stuff
have to tell me later.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some other stuff. It's one of the things I wanted to have a conversation with you about.
Okay.
There is some absolutely. I've added in the past week. I have added
Okay.
3 entries into the idea book, and that are very promising ideas and have far-reaching impacts. One of them is extremely, and it's in the educational market, for telecommunications, and it's going to be,
Ooh.
something. It's not for me, but it's something that somebody else could manage and do. I don't have the time for it, and
Quantum entangled cell phones.
actually, that would actually
Huh?
be something that would function. Okay, so as a we're not going to go down that. We're gonna. Gee, you did that on purpose.
I get David on a rant
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
By the way, Jeff Leffingwell says Al Gore beat him to it.
Um,
Jeff, I'm thinking your invention was the internet or fear mongering.
Well, it's
No politics.
yeah, no
No
politics. fear-mongering.
politics. But he did claim that he invented the internet.
Yeah, he did.
I'm just putting that out there
Yeah.
in the world.
Yeah, CERN didn't do it.
It was Al Gore.
It was Al Gore.
All right. So anyway, the main topic before we get in too many rants.
all right, yeah.
So normally
Fucking
I
Jaguar.
write our agendas. Normally, yikes. So normally I write our agendas, but occasionally I'll find a story that's too good, and we'll have to talk about it.
Yeah.
This is from entrepreneur.com, which they have some good stuff.
Yeah.
And Jeff says, "Yeah, I got it." So Jeff, I knew where you were going.
The problem with the
This is-
French is they've got no word for entrepreneur.
I don't get the reference.
That's
but it's
that's a direct quote from George W. Bush, by the way.
funny. Oof. Yikes.
Yeah, that's classic, man. That is
Ouch.
freaking gold.
Ouch.
I
I didn't hear that one, but I love it.
it's gold, man. It's
That's
good
a
stuff.
T-shirt. That's a T-shirt.
Yeah. I mean, it should be. Hopefully, it's you know what? It's got to be out
You know
there.
what?
It's got to be out there.
If
Once
that's
again.
not out there, we're making that
Yeah.
T-shirt. That's gonna be the Underdog Journey.
You know, the
original.
problem with the French is they got no word for entrepreneur.
We're making it, David. We're making it happen. All right. So this is while you're looking that up, this is the 5 reasons why 2025 will be your most amazing year as an entrepreneur, which I totally agree. When the economy's down, when things are low, you buy. When they're high, you sell, right? So right now the economy is not great. We're coming out of kind of a low period, and things are looking great on the horizon. The market knows it. People know it. Right now is your time. Plant the seed, and 2025 will be the most amazing year to grow as an entrepreneur. And we're gonna run through the 5 reasons why. David, you're still looking for the T-shirt, aren't
Okay.
you?
So Redbubble, which is one of the people we originally talked about making T-shirts.
Yeah, the print on demand.
Yeah, POD. It has one. It's garbage, absolute garbage.
All right, we can do better.
We can make a better shirt. We can absolutely.
Got it. We're
We
making
need
it
to,
happen.
and there's no way they can't copyright that. It's a public quote. So,
It's a quote.
yeah. You can use it to your heart's content. So we will.
Yeah,
We will.
We're making it happen.
We're gonna make it happen.
Is that a George W.
That's
Bush or George
that's,
H.W.
that's
Bush?
George W. That's W.
Okay.
That's W. The problem with the French is they got no word for entrepreneur. It's nuclear.
Dude, I want that shirt. That's an amazing shirt. All right.
It's great.
All right. So here are the 5 reasons. We're not gonna spend a ton of time, but we've already been here doing this for an hour. 5 reasons why 2025 will be your most amazing year as an entrepreneur.
Did you talk to your
whether you're
psychic
French or
about
not.
this?
Talk to my what?
Your psychic about this? 2025, because I'm a Sagittarius, it's gonna be so amazing. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, Miss Cleo. I
Miss
still talk to
Cleo.
Miss Cleo.
Oh, Miss Cleo, man. Yeah, I love those commercials. I love those commercials. Even then, when
Hilarious.
I'm like, what, 15 years old at that time when that was really getting crazy popular. Even then,
yeah, we're showing our
I'm
age.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
Who falls for this? But then again, there are people who actually
Lots of people.
believe in astrology in general, and me, I'm like, you live in a small world if you believe that those stars have any impact on you whatsoever. You're just looking for an excuse to be a bitch, is what you're looking for.
Burning balls of gas,
Yes.
thousands or even millions of light
Yeah.
years away, are affecting
Yeah. You being
your
a dickhead.
personality
Yeah,
traits.
you being a dickhead today. Okay, I get it.
right.
Mars is in the microwave again. I got it.
Right. I won't go there.
Yeah, lower
So
interest
number one
rates.
is lower interest rates means cheaper capital.
Yeah.
So what this means is the price of everything is essentially going to start to go down, including loans for businesses.
Yep.
So here's how it affects everything, right? So essentially loans are going to cost less.
Yeah.
It means that the shares in your company, if you want to sell them, are going to be by default worth more. Interest rates going down means that's worth more, and loans are going to cost less.
Yeah.
Even if you don't take a loan in your business as an entrepreneur, what this means is other
Your
companies
LOCs will be
do
there
take
too, and you should have an LOC. It doesn't matter even if your business is running pretty well, having an LOC
Right.
line of credit available to you is gonna be good, and the rates
Right.
on that line of credit are gonna be better for next year as well.
your lines of credit. So what this means is even if you don't take loans, even if you don't have a ton of credit, other companies that you get your resources from to make your product or service happen, they do have loans and they do have credit that they have to deal with, which means if they're getting better deals, they can pass that on to you. They can actually charge slightly less.
Yep.
And over time, that's going to affect your buying power and your activation power as an entrepreneur. So
And you should
just
be
because you might not have tons of loans,
Yeah. And you should be leveraging this knowledge. Let's say you start a business up and you're running, and let's say you started up, I don't know, a t-shirt shop in late November, early December of 2024. Goalie heads. And then you're taking this into 2025. The people that are providing that, even though you may not be needing a loan or lines of credit or anything of that nature because of the way your business model is set up, you should be able to take this knowledge of them getting these better rates to negotiate a better rate of purchase or
Right.
of sell price yourself. So there's ways to leverage this that are not directly related to you borrowing money.
That's exactly it. It's exactly it. So here's something. Here's just a random fact most people don't know. Um, Jeff Bezos doesn't take a salary from Amazon. Do you know how Jeff Bezos lives the giant lavish lifestyle that he has?
Debt.
It's because his entire lifestyle is built on loans.
Yep.
He takes out personal and business loans that he lives on, and he uses his collateral
Yep.
as collateral. He uses his shares in Amazon.
And guess what?
And
you
what
don't
that
pay
does
taxes
is
on debt.
what that means is he doesn't have income tax because
Yeah.
he doesn't have an income.
Yeah, he doesn't have an income.
So
Now the business pays
I'm not
taxes.
suggesting you do that. That's highly risky for somebody who's not a Jeff Bezos. I'm not suggesting that random Joe Blow go do that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying lower interest rates
got-
in a lot of different ways affect your business.
Yeah, he's got better accountants than H&R Block Online Basic. All right, so
yeah, he's not using Quicken
yeah.
to run his
Yeah.
books.
There's things you got to do, and you know his business is they're not yearly. That's quarterly and maybe even monthly tax filings, and there's billions of dollars being paid in taxes from Amazon.
Yeah, so that was the random
Yeah.
random fact
Yeah.
as a way that loans do affect the way that you
Yeah,
can run business.
absolutely.
But point is lower interest rates.
So
Good thing.
this is another
Very
thing as
good thing.
well. Let's say you have a big cash payday. Let's say you have a windfall, and
Mhm.
let's say you have a facility. This goes for your home life too. So you can say, hey, I got a mortgage on my house. I got my mortgage is like 3.1% or something like that, or 3.025 or something. Anyway, it was very low in the threes. And let's say I come into a windfall. Should I pay my house off or should I invest that in the market? I'm going to get
See, right.
gonna get
Look, you need to
8
talk to my current wife because I've had that conversation many times.
Yeah, I'm going to get 8 to
I'm with you.
10% back in my style of investing. In what I do, I'm going to get 8 to 10% back. I would be stupid to pay off my 3% mortgage. I mean, I'm losing anywhere from 6.5 to 7% of return on my investment. It just absolutely would not make sense to do that.
Oh, 100%. Look, regardless whether it's in your personal life
Yeah.
or your business
Yeah,
life,
turn off
if you're
Dave
going to make
Ramsey.
big purchases, if you're gonna make big purchases, it's way better to spend somebody else's money than your own.
Mhm.
I'm just putting it out
Yeah,
there.
turn off Dave Ramsey. I mean, he's got a lot of good points on a lot of things, but the whole you have to be debt free, you can't carry. It's like, I wouldn't use that as a blanket statement. There are just times when it's absolutely better to do this other thing because
Right.
your return is just going to be better. So yeah,
It's lower interest rates.
yeah, lower interest rates next year, 2025,
yeah.
and that's what we're talking about. You had that idea. There's an idea in this book right here. It's actually revolves around fishing. Literally, I have an idea in my idea book that revolves around fishing. So I'm not going to delve into it on
Like
the show.
scam fishing, like PH with a PH or an F.
No, like going out and fishing. Like going out and fishing. Not
Because I have a few scam fishing ideas that I haven't put out in the world yet because I don't want to make the world a less safe place.
Yeah.
But we can talk.
So hopefully nobody that I work with, and I keep my personal life very personal from work. My personal phone. Back in the day when I had people that I liked that I worked with, they, they had my phone number, my personal phone number, mainly because most of them knew me before I got to where I'm at. But now those people have gone; they've moved on to other companies, and so nobody has it. And gee, many Christmas, what am I thinking about here? I completely lost track. I was like, oh, wait a minute, I had this all tied together, and now I'm like,
Phishing,
fishing, fishing,
phishing,
fishing. Oh
phishing
yeah, yeah.
scams.
So yeah, yes, phishing scams. So now when these people email me with these dumbass emails, I just report it as phishing. I got a
Oh yeah,
button. I got a button built into my
with a
my
work
thing. It's like,
email, you have to.
yeah. I'm like, oh, you sent me something that's absolutely insane. I'm reporting you
Yeah.
as phishing.
So back when I was with a really large company,
Yeah,
before they
yeah.
implemented
So
like
Mike,
mandatory
yeah, go ahead.
tests, I used to screw with those people, and man, I have some fun stories screwing with those people.
Yeah. Yeah, so Mike was over here last night, and we were going through some of the stuff in the idea book, and I think it's gold. And the thing that's in my idea book that's around fishing that can play out into multiple other more I don't want to use the word recreational, but it is more recreational, but in a very specific light. That if you became the owner of that niche,
Hmm.
it would be. I mean, you're almost overnight a multimillionaire. It
I
is
can't
it
even
is
begin to
ridiculous.
think of where you're going with this, but it
Yeah.
sounds like you need to make a phone call to Shannon Black.
No, so it's for people like that already have it. And how do you leverage something? And this is, I think this was a challenge. Somebody challenged me, and I'm like, you can create a business from your love. It's something that the thing that you want to do. And somebody challenged me, fishing. Well, screw you, dude. I found a way to do it. And it's not charter fishing because that's just dumb as hell.
Well, David,
Um,
we've already discovered the best way to fish, which is with a cigar
yes, yeah,
and a tent,
yeah,
and not
yeah.
actually putting your poles in the water.
Yeah, yeah. Wes and I absolutely are the best anglers out there on the planet
It's true.
because we just left our fishing poles sitting next to our chairs as we smoked our cigars and secretly drank a little bit of bourbon at a dry fishing lake. Why would you do that? Um,
Dry fishing lake. That's a sin.
yeah, it should be illegal. Um, and listen to, was it Southern Rock on the band that was right behind us? And
Yeah, they were a
so,
good band.
yeah, it was
They were a
great.
good
It was
band.
great, great. So I completely forgot about the Southern Rock genre. Completely forgot about it until that day. And I'm like, yeah, I like this stuff. It's not bad.
So before we move on, though,
All right.
you do need to contact Shannon Black, and we do need to schedule a 25 fishing competition.
We do. And
We will make it happen in
I would like
25.
to bring him
Come
up
hell or high
here.
water.
I would like to bring him
Come
up
hell
here.
or high water, we're gonna do it.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
We got to do it.
Yeah. We'll pick on
All
him.
right.
We'll
So
pick on him. I know his dad.
number 2, peer pressure. Peer pressure is a good thing sometimes.
Mhm.
Number 2, investor motivation is through the roof, and this is another great thing. Since the economy is looking slightly up, uh, look, this is non-political. This happens every single political season. Every 4 years, this happens.
Yeah.
The economy takes a massive dip right before the election.
Yeah.
Things
It's
go
uncertainty.
start. It's the uncertainty.
Yeah, investors don't like uncertainty. It doesn't matter who's in office, who's running it. That stuff is completely irrelevant. Completely irrelevant. Doesn't matter who's running it. That stuff, it doesn't matter. What
Right. It's the
matters
uncertainty.
is
So every
there
4
is
years,
uncertainty.
yeah, every 4 years we go into a bear market for a good 6 months,
Yep.
and then right after that we hit a really big boost. Even
Yep.
if the other party had won,
Doesn't matter.
we would have
Yep.
at least we still would have seen some sort of a boost in early 25.
Yeah, the way that boost is going to be presented may be
Yeah.
different. The markets that get the boost may be slightly different, but the boost is going to
Mhm.
be there. It is going to be there.
Right.
So you get the naysayers, the doom and gloom. Well, if they get in, it's going to be absolutely crushing the economy. Well, if
And it may in
your
some ways,
economy
but not in
is
others.
if your economy is based on 100% opposite of what these people do, then yeah, your economy is going to struggle. But if you can't and if you can't pivot and adapt, well, then you are not a good business person to begin with. Um,
That's
and
it.
and then vice versa. Actually, there's no vice versa. It's literally the exact same words from the other side. It doesn't matter. So so just to make sure you understand it's not political. It is situational. The situation is there's uncertainty of which
Mhm.
direction the bounce is going to go. Everybody's waiting to see that, and then they start putting their money in. investors. This actually goes back to something we said earlier, that some really, really great companies over the years, even from back to the Great Depression, um,
Yeah.
were founded, and then investors really got behind them because they're the people they're the smart ones with the smart money. And if investors are motivated, then you should be even more motivated for them. There's no reason for you not to launch your tooth fairy thing or your elf thing,
Right.
Mike, and get it going because investors are ready.
Right. So what we all need to understand moving into 25, um, and this was going to happen regardless of who won, for at least 12 more months. We need to know this. Brace yourselves. For at least 12 more months, the economy will still be in a slight dip. It might even get slightly worse because of a certain
In certain
trajectory we've been
well,
on.
well, in certain
Because of the
segments, yeah.
trajectory in certain segments. But what you need to understand is, again, look back at 2008,
Well,
right?
yeah, you're looking at 2009, 2010 is going to be the recovery period on that. Yeah.
Right, 2008. Guess what? You plant the seeds in 2008, so that way in 9 and 10, you are just
Yeah.
taking off.
Yeah,
You've
you're
done the
not
hard
buying
work.
Bitcoin at $50,000. You're buying Bitcoin at 0.05 cents.
Right. You planted the seed when things are bad, and when things pick up, your seeds have already germinated. They're ready to go. So
Germinated.
25, things are going to be still in a dip for a good 12 months. But guess what? Now is when you plant those seeds. So investors know this. Investors are highly motivated right now because they understand this trend that takes place.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for an angel investor or a CV, I'm sorry, VC, not CV, a VC.
I'm like, wait a minute.
If
That's
you're
a
getting
venture
your resume
capitalist
ready, I don't know.
For those of you in Rio
Um,
Linda, that's a venture capitalist.
yeah, a venture capitalist, not a curriculum vitae. One or the other.
A what?
A CV. It's your resume. So in
Oh,
Europe, in Europe,
yeah.
they have a CV, not a resume,
Yeah.
and
So
that stands for curriculum vitae.
so over here, so what I see now, it's like, oh, here, fill out this application, or no, provide your resume, fill out the application with the exact same data that's in your resume. Oh, hey, would you like to put a CV on here as well with the same
Your
data?
resume is your CV.
Yeah, and I'm just like, well, so if you go to
You
Indeed
want me
or
to add
something
it
like that,
twice? I can put it on there too.
yeah, and I'm like, I've already had it added twice. You want me to add it a third time? So now I just submit my resume. If they're not smart enough to work it out from there, I don't want to work for that company anyway.
Right. Do you mean my resume again? Are you talking about a cover letter? I can write it in French. I'm not sure what you mean here.
Parlez-vous en français,
But
s'il
no,
vous plaît.
I meant VC. So VC,
Venture
angel
capitalist.
investor,
Far
they're
more
very highly
familiar with that
motivated
one.
right now.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. If you want to know more about VCs and investors, I highly recommend the
The Viet
HBO show
Cong.
Silicon Valley. Great show. Very recommended.
So wait. What? We're recommending TV shows? What is it called?
Yes, you have not seen Silicon Valley on
No,
HBO.
no, I don't have HBO.
So is
that is
right.
that is
So it's
the
basically
one streaming. I don't have HBO and Max. Those are the only two streaming services I don't have.
Ah,
All the other ones I seem to have.
I'll give you my login for that.
All right, cool.
So
I'm not buying
it's from
another
Mike
subscription.
Judge.
I'm done.
It's
Oh,
from
that's
Mike
Beavis and
Judge.
Butthead, bro.
It's basically Office Space only with tech startups in Silicon Valley.
Oh, okay.
It is one of the best shows ever created in the history of time. It's a great show.
Nice.
And it's about startups, so it's exactly the stuff we talk about.
Oh yeah, good.
All right.
Good.
So number 2, investor motivation is through the roof. Number 3, a business-friendly political environment. I'm not going to talk about politics. I'm just saying.
I'm not going to talk about politics.
Look,
but here's politics.
David, I didn't write this.
I know
This
you
is
didn't.
entrepreneurial.com.
Yeah.
I
And-
cannot take credit for this.
So I
But-
got to play the devil's advocate here, and just to make sure we
Okay,
cover
go
both
ahead.
sides of it. It's not just 2025. It didn't matter who won. It literally didn't matter who won. You could have this same headline: a business-friendly political environment. Okay.
I disagree.
I know you will. That's why I said I've got to say this because what matters is it's going to be a different set of businesses that are going to
Well,
make the money. A different set.
Well, here's why I disagree. And I can make your point. I can make your point, and
Come
I
on,
will
man.
in a
I'm
second.
struggling to
But
keep
here's
this
why
fair
I
and
disagree.
balanced.
But here's why I disagree as a generality. Under certain
Do it
political
without politics.
regimes,
I'll allow you to say it.
under certain political
And that's
regimes,
politics.
I'm not saying which one. I'm not saying which
I'm
one.
not saying which one. It's
Under certain political regimes, red tape seems to run rampant. It's all over the place. More agencies are started. More regulations are started
yeah.
for absolutely no reason. Oh, we didn't even talk about the big one that you guys got to take care of before January 1st. This new thing from the Treasury Department that basically says you need to register your LLC and all of the owners of the LLCs. And if you don't, you'll be charged like $1,000 per day,
Yeah.
and you can face up to 10 years in prison. And they didn't even bother telling anybody about it. You got to find out about this third hand. So we'll talk about that next week. Holy shnikey, I
Yeah.
forgot to tell you guys
Yeah.
about that.
Somebody was telling me about that. Oh, no, Mike. Actually, Mike was telling me about that
Right,
last night. So I got to find it
right,
because that sucks because I own businesses that just sit there and do nothing.
right, and you have to.
Yeah.
It would be like $1,000
Yeah.
a day,
Yeah.
and 10 years in prison.
Yeah. I'm just
So,
going to serve the 10
and
years.
it's not
I'm
even
not paying you any money. Fuck off.
Here's what a lot of people are hoping for. They're hoping that the new Department of Government Efficiency, which is the greatest name ever
Yeah.
for a
Doge.
troll,
Yeah.
will eventually do away
Yeah.
with
Just get rid of this.
this regulation,
Garbage.
and it probably will go away.
And it should.
But in the meantime, until January 20th, it's still definitely the law.
Mhm.
You still definitely have to do it. So it's those sort of regulations that will most likely go away, which is why a business-friendly political environment still makes sense. Now,
Yeah.
from your perspective, from your devil's advocate perspective, I'll say there are certain fields or certain niches where this can go both ways.
Yeah.
Here's an example: green energy.
Yep. Hey,
Here's why green and green adjacent energies,
Jesus, you said her name, man. Don't do it 2 more times. She'll show up.
they would have pushed more subsidies for green energy, and a lot more people would have those subsidies available, a lot more money flowing into that sector and that niche. So you'd be a lot more likely to invest money and invest in those technologies and grow in that area. However, um, given that Trump won, the economy is
God,
going
you said
in
his name twice. Don't say it once.
hang
You
on,
say it 2 more times, he's going to
as
show up.
as
Hey, I got to keep it even
entrepreneur.com,
balanced,
not
bud.
me, as this website, not me, has written, it's a more business friendly
Mhm.
political environment, meaning uh, less regulations. Investors tend to be more pumped up about the direction things are going. The economy is going to go in a very, very, very different direction. Uh, so more average people are going to have more disposable income to invest in certain green energies, and the incentives, subsidies, things like that are still likely going to stick around for the foreseeable future, meaning whether you had gone left or right, your green technology, your green company, even adjacent companies, it's a win-win situation in both cases. So certain niches, David, I agree, but generally speaking, if you have like a dog treat business like Underdog.com, go to Underdog.com for your delicious brew bones. UnderdogPlus.com, not Underdog.com.
I'm like, wait a minute.
UnderdogPlus.com.
Wait
I
a
don't even
minute.
know
We
my
have
own
another
website.
website? Yeah.
It's generally speaking a more business-friendly political environment. Uh, Again, that's from entrepreneur.com, not from me. So
Entrepreneur.
don't throw me in the fire.
Oh, no, we're burning your ass at the stake, bro.
Let's move on. All right, number 4 is consumer confidence is on the rise. Again, I don't know if you can play this up for politics or not, but generally speaking, it says here stock markets showing no sign of slowing down. Things are getting better. Things are getting better all the time. Find that movie quote. It's just people have more confidence in the direction the economy is going. More people are spending money even if they don't have it. Um, like I said, for the next 12 months, the economy will still be in a dip, but after that, it's going to pick up, and I think it's going to pick up in a very, very,
Yeah.
very big way.
Yeah. You don't want to be there or stutter 15 times in a row like I just did. You don't want to start your business after the upswing is there. You're
No,
gonna have
buy
you're
low,
gonna
sell high. That's the rule.
and you're gonna have ramp up time. You're gonna have time that you don't actually that you should foresee if you go back and watch all 231 episodes of the Underdog Journey. Because back in the day, we had a lot of really good stuff. We really should circle back and recapitulate some of the
Redo some
stuff,
of those.
some of the things that we did in the past.
Yeah.
That was talking about timelines and roadmaps and things like that that you don't necessarily
Mhm.
take into account. They're saying, "Hey, I'm gonna start a business." Oh, here we are. That gives you that ramp up period. You want to be at zero at the bottom of that arc, and when it starts that first tick up, you need to be from 0 to 1. And that way
Right.
you can ride that value train all the way up the arc. And that's the
That's it.
goal. So
So considering we're in
you're in
kind
at
of a
0, and you're going to
so
take it as high as it goes.
and here's how these all kind of interconnect. Considering we're in kind of a dip right now,
Mhm.
right? We're in a dip right now. We can all admit it. And number 4 here says
We're in a rut.
consumer confidence is
We're
on.
here to bust your rut.
It
We're
says
the
consumer
rut
confidence is on
busters.
the rise. Let's say you're a little skeptical about consumer confidence because you still hear the fear mongering on the news channels. I get it; they all do it because they want the clicks.
Yeah.
But look at this. Go back up to number 2. Investor motivation is through the roof. Guess what? You should not get excited when the news channels are excited. You should get invested. You should get excited when the investors are excited.
Yes.
When the investors start hopping, you hop.
Yeah.
It goes back to the old saying, don't listen to what I say, watch what I do.
Watch what I do.
You look at the big fish. When they start
Yep.
to hop, you hop with them.
Yeah.
Don't wait for everybody else.
And you guys remember earlier when I said, hey, Dave and Wes are going to start our random whatever BC random shit BC news 24-hour news cycle. Our job instantly becomes no longer providing news. It is providing a platform for people to advertise on. So that's where we make our money, because that's our job now, is to get ad revenue in, not to provide news, but to get ad revenue in. That is just by
Right. So don't
nature of
listen
the
to the news
beast.
channels.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't
News
listen to
channels
news
are
channels.
worse,
Watch
is some of the worst
investors.
place. And anybody who calls themselves, I don't care if they're on a podcast, I don't care where they call themselves, an alternative to the mainstream news. They're just as bad as the mainstream news, because they're
Yeah.
now, their primary objective is to get ad revenue in. And they may take just the 180,
hmm
but it's no less
Oh yeah.
driven by ad
Back
revenue.
back when
So
I was running email
watch the
programs for
investors.
really,
Watch the
really
investors.
back when I was working managing email programs for really, really big companies. Um, I didn't say this super publicly around the very high executives. I said around some middle-level executives, and I got some really dirty looks. Which is the idea that with email, much like the websites that have all the news and stuff, my job was never to sell a product. My job was never to sell a line of products
Yeah.
or even the company
Here,
itself.
buy this
My job
chocolate bar.
no, my job was to sell the click.
Yeah.
If I could get a click, my job was done. Same thing with your news channels, by the way.
Yeah.
CNN, Fox, ABC, NBC, all of them.
Yeah.
They're not there to tell you the news. They're there to sell a click.
Are there so click? So,
That's it.
I have a group inside of our business that I keep trying to tell them that you are marketing. You need to be treated as marketing. Your wins and how you're judged of whether you've succeeded or not needs to be judged on marketing, over a marketing glass. And everybody has, and up to this point, they really haven't been. And
Mhm.
hopefully the new people coming in will see them and go, yeah, we need to put them, and they need to roll up under marketing, because it's really their world. And judging winning and losing, or winning or succeeding and failing, needs to be judged by that lens. Right
Mhm.
now, they're just judged by arbitrary bullshit. And I'd love to get paid what they get paid for doing what they do.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Yeah. So yeah. So, and that's it. So what we've taken away right now is, like, don't listen to the news, listen to the investors. The investors, if they're if they're ready to invest, and that money's moving, don't care what either side says. From the news standpoint,
Right.
listen to the investors. I mean, that's where the smart money is. That's where they're going to be.
Exactly.
And let's say you wanted to get into a market, and you're like, hey, I've got a couple ideas. One could go this way, one could go that way. Listen to the investors. I mean, that's pretty it.
That's
And you can
exactly
start
it.
the one today, and then when there's the ebb and flow, which there is, the to and fro, the hither and thither, then when the other side or the other part of it comes up, you can start your other business and take it up. Now, you don't want to start it on the upswing, because I just said that. You don't want to start it on the upswing. You've got
Yeah.
time to ramp up the business, to build things so that you can ride that up. So the Underdog Plus Brew Bones, uh, was kind of developed and launched during a downward slope. And And
To put it mildly, a
yeah,
downward slope.
a down. So that's all I'm gonna call it. It's a downward slope. Inflation was impactful. And it's been pretty successful for you, even with. And that's how good the product is. First of all, it's been very good with disposable income that's been limited. It's still been a very good product, even with disposable income being restricted. And
Right. That's it.
now that brand gets to ride that wave up, where in theory, over the next year and a half to 2 years, we're going to see a fairly good increase in disposable income. If you love your pets, this is the only treat you should be giving them. Period. No ifs, ands, buts about it. I have other treats out there, and I got to tell you, I feel like absolute trash, which I need to order. Don't let me forget about that this week. I need to order dog treats, and I had to get my dogs other treats, and I know the ingredients in those treats are garbage. They're from
If you can't pronounce the ingredients
yeah,
in your dog's treats, it's not.
yeah,
It should dog
they're
treats and
big
food shouldn't
business.
be a science experiment.
Yeah,
They should be a chemistry experiment. They should be, all natural, limited ingredients.
yeah. So the ones I have, I mean, we're not talking. I've got some, off-brand thing. They're bones that are made of milk. If you get that reference, um, and I still absolutely feel like shit for giving them to my dogs because there is so much of a better, and I'm just too damn lazy to go online and buy them. So don't let me forget. I need to order, and I usually order them by the 10. So that's what I recommend to you guys. When you put an order in on underdogplus.com, pull up the bones, pull up the bag. There it is, underdogplus.com. Is pumpkin spice still in stock?
You know what? We have a couple left in stock. Pumpkin spice is almost gone.
Yeah,
This is
it's a
actually a limited
seasonal.
thing.
Yeah, it is seasonal,
It's
which it
it's a
should be.
seasonal flavor. Yeah.
But
So it's seasonal.
absolutely amazing. And if you really want to do it up nice, and you've got family coming over, this is a pure plug for West, and the Underdog Plus, uh, brew
This is a,
bones.
this is a hack straight from David. I think I know what he's going to say.
So what I'm going to tell you is, you put your store bought cookies out on the trays and whatnot, and take your dog treats that you got from UnderdogPlus.com, and you put those in the oven and you warm them up. Your whole house is going to smell like he's got an apple crunch one, and it's going to make your whole
Mhm.
house smell like an apple pie. And
It's
so
true.
before you get visitors coming over for Christmas this year, put those in your oven, warm them up. It's not going to hurt them.
It does make your house smell
And
awesome. My
then
house
and then
always
give
smells awesome right
give
now.
give a nice, not one that's hot, but one that's warm. Give a nice warm one to your dog, and they're gonna absolutely go nuts for them. Absolutely go nuts.
It's true. So all the dog treats we have apple spice, apple bacon, peanut butter, and a few pumpkin spice right now left. But all of these, none of them have any wheat, rice, or soy in them. So no wheat flour, no processed ingredients. I actually mill my own flour from brewer's grains, locally sourced brewer's grains. All the apples come from a local apple orchard here. It's your dog will thank you. These are actually really really healthy for your pup. I can't recommend that humans eat them, but Matt Harmon in the background frequently does dip them in his bourbon,
He's not back there tonight. He's
but I
West
don't
is
recommend it.
West is not hallucinating. Matt is sometimes in the back. He just is not there
No,
tonight.
he actually does occasionally.
But he does. He comes in and he actually takes he'll eat them direct, and he actually, even more
He dips them in
weirdly,
his bourbon.
dips them in his whiskey and then eats them. It's basically a sugar-free cookie.
Yeah, and he
And
always has a nice shiny coat, and
yeah,
is wet. His nose is always wet.
yeah. And
So
and I say sugar-free cookie. That's really unfair to the dog treat.
yeah, they're basically cookie. It's basically cookies without the sugar.
Yeah. But not just any cookie. It's a cookie that's healthy for you and provides
Because there's
benefits
no
to you.
sugar.
There's
Yeah.
no sugar. There's turmeric in them, which is a natural anti-inflammant. That is amazing for not only your dogs, but if you guys are out there cooking and doing things, turmeric is one of those things that you should be eating. And on that note, we went off on a wild tangent on
It's a
number
weird
4.
long
Yeah.
tangent.
Well, all I really want to do is plug Underdog Plus Brew Bones because you guys
I
need to have
appreciate
it.
it. I appreciate it. We got one more. So number 5 is tech innovation is exploding.
I can
Holy moly!
vouch.
If you have a tech idea whether it's software or hardware.
I can
I mean,
vouch.
right now,
Yeah.
you need to move because you know what? Doesn't matter what area you're in. If
Ah.
you don't like you mentioned, David, your modular soundboard.
Yeah.
If you don't move on an idea, somebody else is already working on it.
I gotta tell
Guaranteed.
you, I'm glad I didn't do it. Because even what my vision was is not as good as what this product is. The people that brought this product out was phenomenal. I'll try to make sure I have the links ready for next week. But
Hmm.
those, what they put out, it was everything that I would have possibly wanted it to be. It
Right.
is phenomenal. The only thing I have concern about is the power pass through. Where does the power go through? How many of these modules can you go through off of a standard power supply? And then you got to remember, if you have 15 things in a row, you're passing all 15 modules through module number
Hmm.
one's power supply. So how does that function? What's the maximum? And there's things like that. Those are
Ooh.
geeky little things that I would think about.
Yeah.
But their product looks absolutely amazing. And, you
Sure.
know, but it goes to show you that I had an idea before this thing wasn't a thought. And somebody came up with it and said, "Yeah, we can do this." And I think I actually may have mentioned it online at one point, so maybe they stole it
I'll
from
bet
me. I
they're a
don't know.
watcher of our show.
Yeah, that's a good thing because, and I try all the time to hand off ideas to people, saying, "Hey, I want some people to do this. This is a good idea. This is a great idea. If you have a passion for this, here's an idea. Go for it." If you guys are like, "Hey, Dave, I need an idea from you," call me up. I got ideas all the time.
It's true.
Literally, literally, I added 3 to my idea book
If anybody is
yesterday.
watching and they're saying, I want to do this, but I don't have a business idea, call
Yeah,
David,
call me up.
send him a message,
Send me a message.
and he'll give you at
I'll give
least a
you
dozen.
I'll give you 10 to 15 ideas. Give me a little information about yourself, and we'll hone that down. And I'll give you 5 to 10 good ideas for your business, um,
Right.
that are equitable and marketable today. You launch today. So that's
It's
it. All
true.
right. So tech innovation, and you know this. I I know that you know this, and I know that you know
I know
that I know
this.
this. That's a dodgeball reference, by the way. Um,
Great movie.
it
Underrated, but good movie. I wouldn't say great, good movie.
is a good movie. I'm gonna give it a great movie. It really actually is a great movie.
Okay,
The
fair enough.
storytelling in it. Yes, is it absurd? Yes, absolutely. It is absurd.
It's Ben Stiller and Vince Vaughn.
Yeah. So it is absurd. Storytelling, cinematography itself, the kinema kind of aspect of it is all there. It is a better all around put together movie than Star Trek 1, right? So and I'm a Star Trek fan. I like Star Trek
Okay.
1,
I'll go rewatch it with that mindset
yeah, it's
going.
it. It's
So sorry, go ahead.
but
So
so
tangent.
uh yeah. So that I know that that tech innovations are exploding. So if you have a technological Matt Andre, which hasn't responded back to me, if you don't take action on this,
I think he's forfeited that idea.
and he didn't have the idea, I had the idea, and I tried to get him to take it up. But if he hasn't taken it up, this is that specific or those two specific ideas are too important to be
Right?
let go. So I'm
You know
going to
that
have
I'm
to do something
currently
about
working
it.
on an idea. You know that I'm currently working on an idea,
Ugh.
and there's another company completely unrelated who has a similar along the same lines.
Yeah.
They're not executing the same way that I am. I don't think their way or their product is even remotely what I'm offering.
No.
But it's
No.
it's still in the same niche.
Yeah, it is.
So it's look, if you're not acting on your product or your business idea, somebody else is. I
Yeah,
promise
somebody's
you,
gonna be
there's
there.
somebody else working on it.
Somebody's gonna be bringing into it, and eventually they're gonna go, "Oh, wait a minute," and they're gonna have that epiphany that you've already had,
Right. You
and
cannot
they're
drag
gonna
your
take it.
feet.
You've got to take action. You've got to step up, and you've got to swing hard at it. And let's say you guys are out there, and whoever's watching now at this point, should be everybody, to be honest. I mean, everybody in America should be watching this. And in Germany, Poland, not Germany, but Poland, because Poland's kick ass right now. Germany's, you guys need to kind of come back a little bit. But Poland's kick ass. Japan, we used to have some viewers in Japan. We have some other people around the
We
world that
have.
watch
You're
this.
right. We totally have.
Where were we talking about? Where were we going? I started thinking about
Tech innovations are exploding.
yeah. So I was thinking about the global implications about where we used to have viewers, and I was like, oh, reminiscing, and I completely forgot what we're talking about. But anyway, tech innovations. There's just so much room for it, and if you don't do it, somebody else is going to. So
Well, it doesn't matter what your idea
yeah,
is, how unique you think it is. If you're not working on it right
yeah.
now, somebody else somewhere is working on the same idea. You just need to beat them to the market.
So there is an idea that I've had, and I do not have it in my idea book. So I need to. I'm sorry. I'm gonna need you to talk. I need you to talk about innovations
All
and
right.
exploding ideas
Well, David's writing down ideas. That's
because
basically it. I'm going to run through these 5 real
excellent.
quick while David's writing that down. So this was the five reasons why 2025 will be your most amazing year as an entrepreneur. Number 1 was lower interest rates means cheaper capital. This, even if you're not getting a loan, guess what? This affects everything you do, everything you buy. And it affects the how fast your company can scale and grow. So 2025 is a great time to plant those seeds. Number 2, investor motivation is through the roof. Look, when investors get excited, you should get excited because they know a lot more about the market and the way direction it's moving than you. They study these trends. I promise you, when they get excited, you need to get excited and start moving. Don't drag your feet. Number 3, a business-friendly political environment. Look, we don't get political in this show. We try not to. We do sometimes. We try not to.
I have a little tighter leash than Wes does.
But look, uh,
But look,
but look. Here's the thing. You can look forward to fewer, much less red tape. I'll put it that way. Much less red tape in certain areas. And I think, again, investors agree, not just me. I didn't even write this. Entrepreneur.com wrote this. It's a business-friendly political environment. Enjoy
it's a French
enjoy it while it
website.
lasts.
It's a French website.
Right? It's funny. No, we're making that T-shirt, David.
We
Number
we
4,
need to.
consumer confidence is on the rise. Look, people are in a different mindset right now, and
Yeah.
people understand that even though they might not currently have the best level of disposable income, people are being more liberal with the way they spend their money because they have good thoughts about the way the future is
Yeah, the
going
way
to
the
go.
next 12 months are going to be. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. Use that while you can. Number 5 is tech innovation is exploding. We are in a time of unprecedented technical advancement in
hmm
computers and AI
Not
and
AI.
different
AI
types.
doesn't exist.
Okay, AI in big quotes. Much better if then statements attached
Language
to
models.
large language models. Um, Either way, it's changing the way we all do business, and the way we do business, the way we interact online, will never ever be the same because of it. Whether you think it's actually intelligent or not, take advantage of
It's
that while
not.
you can too. Because regardless of what you want to do, if you're not doing it right now, somebody else will beat you to it. You must move now.
Modular soundboard. I mean, that should say it right there. This is an idea I had a year and a half ago, or more actually. I don't remember when it was, but it was a long time ago. And I was like, it'd be great to be able to do this, this, this. And somebody literally built exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah, it happens quick.
So
Look, if you don't move, somebody else is moving right now.
yeah, don't get stuck. There's a guy who does business training, and 99% of what he says is absolute horseshit. Um and people pay him a lot of money to come in and talk, right? And he had this one part that it was the and I'm gonna twist what he says because the way he says it is a little bit of bullshit as well. But he talks about being the rabbit. The rabbit is poised and always ready and always on alert and ready to go.
Okay.
It can be going here straight and then it'll stop. And if it senses a predator or even hints at a predator, it will pivot and just go.
Okay. Rabbit's not afraid to pivot. I
So
like it.
it's not afraid of pivot, it's not afraid of things, but it's also not afraid of taking very quick and very decisive action. And right now, that's what you need to be. You need to be very decisive and not afraid of taking action. I am a huge fan of the saying, taking too long to make a decision is making no decision at all. Period. And I use that every single day. I do
It's
not
true.
set and mull over decisions for days or
Hmm.
hours. I get the pertinent data, I process, I make a decision and go. the vast majority of the time, it works absolutely flawlessly. Very rarely
Yeah.
does something come back and go, "Oh, yeah, we misstepped." Um, and at no point have I ever not been able to make another decision to get back on track and move forward.
Right. You know what that
So,
reminds me of? It is the
yeah.
old that reminds me of the old tech motto of move fast and break things. The
Yes.
idea is, look,
Yes.
don't drag your feet. Don't spend your time in analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
Move fast. Make these decisions as quickly as possible.
Move
Guess
fast,
what?
break
You're
things.
gonna make mistakes. The trick
Love
is
it.
learning from those mistakes and moving on. Move
Yeah.
fast and break things is still a very
Move fast,
valuable
break
valuable lesson.
so amazing. So I did that a ton, and I didn't know the quote, but
It's the
that
same
is
thing,
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah, it is crazy. So I have an old because I'm old and grumpy old guy.
Yeah,
Um,
you are.
yeah. So if mine is a decision that takes too long to make is no decision at all. So if I
Mhm.
send something in for approval and I've got to wait more than just an hour, and I'm going, this should be done. This should be
Right.
done. If I need something in that I need approval on, if you took more than an hour on it, you what's going on? What's
Mhm.
the holdup? And like, well, we want to take this, and if they say they got to go to a committee and talk about it,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
done.
it's over.
I'm
Committees always
yeah,
make the wrong
yeah.
decision.
I automatically go ahead and go forward with what I'm doing. If they
It's
tell me
easier to
they're
ask
going to
for forgiveness than from permission.
yeah, absolutely. If somebody tells me they come back and they go, well, we're gonna have a meeting about this and talk to a committee, and we're gonna make a decision about this. I just say, okay, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. Let me know what comes out of it, and then I go ahead with my plan.
David's boss does not watch this show, by the way.
David's boss should watch this show because, damn, he could get a lot out of it.
Everybody could. Everybody should watch this show.
Yeah, everybody really should. There is literally something for everybody in this show. We can talk about right now. I moved over to the Calumet. The Calumet. This is
Good
the
stuff.
blend. Yeah, Calumet is a wonderful bourbon, by the way. This is the blend between the 15 and the 8-year small batch. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the small batch stuff. I'd rather have single barrel any day of the week over small batch. But this is the blend between the 15 and the 8. And I've had it in here in a while. And like I said before, I'm really trying to get rid of the open bottles before I buy too many more new bottles.
And you have some good open bottles. It's true.
Yeah, and I'm trying to filter through some of them. I got some really good open bottles, but I also have some open bottles that are all right.
So, David, it's almost 11 o'clock. I think we ought to probably wrap it up.
Wrap it up. Hey, I can go back to scene 1. I'm all right. I'm gonna click a button and see what happens.
There you go.
And it immediately shifted to your head, just being down in the lower left hand corner. So I'm gonna try to fix West's head. Oh no, I did it all on its own. All right, cool. I didn't have to do anything.
There you go.
Nice. I didn't do that. That was it was a software. The software has actually behaved much better tonight than it historically has.
Because it knew you were
yeah.
planning on dropping it.
Yeah, because I've got a whole nother computer with a whole different piece of software ready to go. And this thing was like, I got your back, bro. And it did it tonight because, you were going to be hosting the show. And the NDI was like, nah, you ain't doing this tonight.
But next week, it doesn't matter. We're not using OBS or Ecamm. We're going to be on something else because both of these are ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, David, let's go ahead and wrap this up. I've been Wes. This guy's been David.
Oh, we're doing it right now. Okay. Shit.
We're doing it right now because
Okay.
it's 11 o'clock. We got to get out of here.
Is it?
All
right.
We'll see you guys next week.
We'll see you guys next week. I'm going to put the fingers up here. We see.
Is the outro?
Outro? We're not quite yet. I got the balloons. Now we can go outro.
Oh, you got the balloons.
I got the balloons.
Aw,
We'll see you guys.
Very cute.
We'll do the 2 thumbs up. The 2 thumbs up. I don't know if that is that a thing. Oh yeah, they just give me thumbs up. All right, cool. All right, you guys have a good week. We'll see you guys next week.
Later.
the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin'